watch the clothing.
Who's your paperweight? Okay, what you have to do is lean on that one. Which one? You were trying to do it without a paperweight?
Wait,
Will you be her paperweight?
I am.
Okay, good. You moved. That's good. You saw her coming and you went up there. Welcome to this performance by the Woodstock Library Puppeteers. We're going to do a very brief musical number for you.
It's good to know how to say no. It's good to know how to say no. Sometimes you say yes and end up in a mess when no would have been apropos. You should have learned long ago. It's good to know how to say no. Ho ho! CVS has got to go.
Food, not drugs! Food, not drugs!
I just thought, why not? Why not march in there? It was sort of like a way of saying goodbye to Grand Union.
Food, not drugs! Food, not drugs! Food, not drugs! Food, not drugs!
So many things have happened in Grand Union. We raised money for the Arts Board sitting at Grand Union, and we sold raffle tickets. And I remember some people got their animals at Grand Union because people would sit outside with boxes of kittens and puppies and things like that, and the Girl Scouts would sell their cookies there. I even ran for town board there.
Food, not drugs! 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 Food, not
Love
drugs!
the bold, love the meek, love the strong and the weak, but don't smile when they're stepping on you. It's good to know how to say no.
Grand Union is bankrupt. CNS is, the receiver of the asset. CNS made a deal with CVS Drugs. This is just one of 20 stores that involve one big package deal. I think the community is going to rally. I feel sorry for CVS. I don't feel sorry for us.
We have a bunch of people here. We're in front of what appears to be the Grand Union, although it is not truly the Grand Union. Money that is earned in this establishment is not going to the Grand Union. It's backing up both CVS and a company called C&S, who had promised Woodstock that they were going to keep this as a Grand Union. As it turned out, they backed out of it, and now this is slated to become a CVS, which obviously is not going to meet the needs of this community. Other communities have had problems with this kind of thing, trying to keep CVS out, but you know what? Other communities are not Woodstock and don't have the resolve that the members of the Woodstock community have.
Ho ho! CVS has got to go.
My name is David Chen, C-H-E-N. I'm a reporter with the New York Times, and I'm here for the auction and also the parallel protest. It's part of a sort of a bigger story about the struggle of a small town trying to hold on to its identity, I guess. I would imagine that there are probably other towns in New Jersey and in New York that are undergoing similar difficulties in expressing themselves. It's just that Woodstock happens to be by far the most famous place that's going through this change, and a lot of people who are not in the immediate area are going to be interested in what this town does and what it has to say, and what it will be like when they come to visit as well.
My name is Travis Breedlove. I got Randy right beside me, Mr. David Bell.
My father actually started a horse auction business years ago before I was even born, so I've grown up in the business, and we've evolved into selling supermarkets and restaurants about 20 years ago.
We appreciate everyone coming out. We want to get you out of here as quick as possible, and we certainly want to get out of here as quick as possible too. On our auction schedule, we have a lot more auctions coming up.
We'll be at Hopewell Junction tonight, 7:30, Travis.
We will be in Hopewell Junction tonight at 7:30. We will be in Goshen, New York tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock a.m. 39. Now I'm going 40. You want to get $40. Hit 35 down 40. Hit 35 down 40. You want to get $40. You want to get 40 where? Hit 35 down 40. 45.
Cheese cutter and the pizza wrap.
I've been doing it about 11 years now. We've got contract on selling the Grand Union stores that have gone out of business all over the New York, New Jersey, Connecticut, and Vermont area. We've got 36 auctions that we're going to do. We're going to do them in about 30 days.
This isn't going to stop, a multi-million-dollar corporation to cause a major scene here. If you guys have no problem with you guys doing this out here, that's what you need to do. Don't interfere with traffic and don't cause problems in the store. That's great. More power to you. But let's not have problems in the store. I mean, let's keep this, as peaceful as everything else that's done in Woodstock. Okay.
Hey, Travis. Travis.
Yes.
Got just one roll of gondola left. It's the only one I got for the long roll. Got you $200 in it.
All right.
200.
We got that one row left right there.
Well, no. I really came for this, so I would just take this, please. My husband was here in Woodstock since 1955. I loved my Grand Union. I would, when it was open 24 hours, I made a date with someone and we would waltz in the aisles at 3 in the morning.
Why are you here?
I am here in memory of beautiful memories. I feel that I do some very important volunteer work, that I care for people, and I've always been mesmerized by this sign.
How much did you pay for it?
I got it for only $10.
If I have to fight CVS on in the media world, yes, I will write Titus and Sevius, and I will tell the tale of the eponymous Roman emperor during the time of the Great Revolt by an Austrian slave of the name Woodstockers. Yes, I'll do that.
There.
Yeah.
Oh, you can't say because you're not saying. I can hear it. Oh, because you're afraid. Well, you might be a chicken if you're trying to sing.
The older generation, the ones who 30 years ago who supposedly fought for social justice and upholding environmental law, are now the ones who are selling this town out. They're selling their own neighborhood, and that's what we mean by, there goes the neighborhood. Here in Woodstock, when the tourists come in here, you literally cannot cross the street. What kind of quality of life is that? Hell, I'll just move back to New Jersey if that's the case.
But people should also have the reality in their minds that if we go in guns blazing, there is the chance, it's not just the chance, but case law does not support us. And that is a political reality of the course.
I don't think we can be nice about it with these guys. And the whatever they say about eminent domain or negotiation, I don't know if that means that you have to actually start the proceeding and then you enter into negotiation, or you start the negotiation and then it's attached to whatever the proceeding is. I don't have a clue. And we don't even have an attorney that's told us this.
I have a velvet one from Victoria.
Oh, yeah, okay. Anyway, I'm running for town board, and I just want
good.
here to introduce myself and tell people a little bit about my background.
Great. I need some of the people.
I can't be like this total stiff that all they do is get up there and say, vote for me, vote for me. I have to relate to people like they're people. So I saw her dress immediately, and I said, "Ooh, I have that dress." So what's wrong with that? Huh?
Once the town board makes the determination, okay, we're seizing it, we have to give them that $975,000, which is why I think it's important to make sure that we do have a grocer that interested.
When Jeremy and I went down to that first meeting with the public relations consultant that they sent in against us,
we knew that when it came to hardball in business talk, that we were up against highly placed professionals. But we were there being who we were. I mean, we're Woodstockers. We care about Woodstock, and we were there to express the human side of the story.
Is that one of our protesters over there? I guess she has to walk. She's one of the ones who doesn't drive. She'll have to walk over to the health food store. I was originally born in the Bronx, and then we immigrated to Queens. I love to say that. I came up here from Rowayton, Connecticut, and I came up to join a man who I was in love with. And then we fell out of love, and here I am in Woodstock, which I simply adore. I sell real estate now. Back in the 60s, I didn't come to Woodstock. I was very corporate at the time. As a matter of fact, I was a corporate credit and collections manager for a toy manufacturer. And then I came up here and I started selling real estate. And I've sold a lot of houses to people right around here so that they could take the bus up from the city. They don't drive, and walk to the supermarket to get their groceries.
In the winter, we're going to have to travel miles to do our supermarket shopping. And at my husband's age, I don't drive. At my husband's age, he is very leery about driving in winter weather to begin with. So there is just one thing, and he can drive. I pity people who can't drive at all, really.
Well, I mean, from what I've heard from them, they are moving into this area as well as other areas because they feel that with a lot of baby boomers and retirees, you know, the area is ripe for additional prescription drug services, and I guess it's part of an overall strategy that they have to, you know, to kind of follow the pharmaceutical trends of the future. Of course, you know, Woodstock is going to have its colorful characters, which of course adds to the news value because of the name and the fact that people are so quirky here, I guess. So anyway, that's the connection.
We made it very clear to them that you're not fooling with a small town. You're fooling with a brand. And you have no idea what kind of a struggle you're going to have if you don't, you know, work with us. So my personal feeling at this point is I don't think we're going to even need the eminent domain procedure.
He's not a hardcore negotiator. And when you're dealing with corporate America, unfortunately, you can't be nice with them because they're not nice. They don't care. They don't think about people. They think about dollars. I mean, they watch the graphs, and that's what's important to them.
You've just got to say, no, you're not going to let this happen. You know, it's just not fair to the town of Woodstock. You know, we're the ones that are doing without a supermarket. They're going to come in and do whatever the hell they want.
I believe, just like Carl Jung, that leaders are led, and that's been my experience. It's a great job. I love it. Which doesn't mean that if I feel that I've let my community down, or that if I'm not serving them as capably as they ought to be served, that I won't leave the job. I would in a snap of my fingers. In fact, I had already said to one of the community meetings with somebody grousing at me about my tactics and my style, my this and my that, I said, fine, you come up with a strategy. You tell me what the town should do. You lay it out. Just give me the blueprint. And I will be very happy to resign my position and encourage the town board to appoint you the next town supervisor to follow through on that. You know, it's like everybody talks about action, action, action. You know, you got to be ballsy, you got to be this, you got to be that. And what most people don't realize is that town boards cannot just wave their wands and make people go away.
I'm probably the sole person on this board that's not totally enamored with the tactic that has been taken in the negotiation. It's no secret to Jeremy.
None whatsoever.
An hour ago or 2 hours ago, we probably had a big screaming match about it.
No.
No. Well, it was a
respectful
semi-screen
conversation.
match. You were up there telling everybody that we were gonna, pretty much, go to war against CVS, and now all of a sudden you just decided that this is not something you can do. You're not going to protect the interests of Woodstock. You're just going to totally let the whole thing go. I mean, the minute we walked into that meeting with Risley, you basically caved. I don't get it. I really don't get it.
I do not believe that you can do anything there with a quarter of the square footage. You cannot accomplish, if you're going to be the reality is that if the Grand Union provided their service in 10,000 square feet, 7,500 or 75% of that space would be inadequate. So our problem is going to be, if we get down to a quarter of that, you will only have a Bearsville market. So what I said to Jeremy only 2 hours ago is, okay, what are we going to do when it comes back and it's like that?
I can almost hear ya.
We were approached by the town board and the supervisor and asked to please provide a food market, even though it couldn't be the size of or an actual substitute for the Grand Union, but a food market for the people of the hamlet. We originally agreed to put 3,700 square feet of the existing building aside for a food market. We had 5 different people, including Mr. Epstein, all of which said they could not make a go of a 3,700 square foot market. And it was a consensus of opinion that 7,500 square foot was the minimum that they would be willing to use. In order to get 7,500 square feet, we needed to do an expansion to accommodate both my client's minimum requirements and the food market's minimum requirements. And that is the only reason we're here, is to provide you a food market. I just want to, you got it right from the horse's mouth.
My understanding and my reading of the law is that the town board allows that. We don't get to substitute our judgment, period.
You're supposed to substitute your judgment.
Oh, no, we're not. And no, you don't want us to. You may like it in this case, you wouldn't like it in other cases. So I ask if you wish to address that. If not, I'm going to continue to assume that the issue of this use, the use on this property, is a legal use in our town, and we are without power to change it, period.
And this place is going to suck the vitality out of every store in Woodstock as it cherry picks the most profitable and best items in town. And I know that's probably not your jurisdiction, it's very technical, but these are the kind of things that happens to be said. And I don't like the fact that you're standing over there kind of rolling your eyes and looking at the ceiling, because this is where we live. And I don't know where you live, but I hope this kind of thing never happens to the quality of life where you live.
I mean, we'll go out and try to find somebody. I would say if we can't find somebody, say 6 months, but let's say a year, we're not going to find anybody. I mean, like we dealt with Mr. Epstein. He said recently he didn't want to do it, but he's also expanding his own market.
Do you think CVS wants a grocer in that building?
At this point, no. I think initially they wanted to be up front and to help the town, and it seemed like a realistic thing to do, but after all the talking and negotiations, I think now they just want to get in and get their business up and started. And if they can find a grocer, fine. If not, they'll just proceed with whatever they have to do.
I assume that you've pretty much come to the end of the discussion with Bill Epstein?
And I have not discussed with him, but I understand from Jeff that yes, he has said
He has said no.
He has said no.
At that price?
Well, at the new price, I assume. If there's a lower number, then why not come down to it? And if Bill Epstein said no at this number, I don't know that he would have said no at another $4 less a square foot, and I don't know that it's fair to him to now, I don't know what's fair and not fair, but I do know I don't understand why this number keeps coming down in little pieces.
But they didn't approach me with a lesser price or with more negotiations as to price. No, a grocery store can't work with those numbers.
My feeling is there's not going to be a store there.
I certainly wouldn't stake my fortune on it.
Right, I just think that plan A ain't happening.
We have 2 people I know who want to hear from us once we have an approval. I've asked other developers, who deal with people with markets, to give me some names. I would think 6 months would be enough with an extension period.
I would be willing to vote for Plan A if I were sure that a market could go in and it would be feasible. I am pro, I realize they have a right to be there. I'd like to see them there with a market.
The intent of getting this market has been foremost in my mind.
And
So
the
it's
intent is
difficult.
still clearly, I think, foremost on this board's mind.
That's what we
What
want.
we're saying now is, don't look so good, and we want to make sure if it doesn't go in, everything else is still good.
This is an invading army coming into a town that is going to be without a supermarket.
Excuse me.
Yeah, what?
Allow us to continue. Thank you.
This is madness.
This is a formal vote now. All those in favor of Plan A?
Aye.
4, the vote is 4. As before, 4-1-1 is the formal vote. You have to indicate who voted no and abstained, so Mark voted no. Let me re-ask it. All those no, Mark votes no, and I abstain. In Plan B, all those in favor?
Changing.
Changing.
Yeah. Well, you've got getting the formal vote.
All those opposed? I'm going to take a 5-minute recess.
No action. You got no action if you don't have say.
Why would you want to do this?
I do not understand.
No, I understand the implications, but I want the efforts to be put into having a market for our town. And to put the energy there rather than to have it not be, another chain store at the beginning of Woodstock, just for the purpose of having that.
You understand you're still going to have a chain store in the beginning of Woodstock?
Well, maybe it'll be successful, maybe it won't. It's stuck in the environment that it is now.
We have to get Hillary?
Well, we can postpone the vote. I don't know how Hillary stands on this. I really don't. Can everyone be here next Thursday? I don't see down, and I want to get it set up right away.
Well,
I want to pay
we
him right
voted
away.
on CVS, and we voted, we had a majority vote for Plan A, which is including the supermarket, or the market, and we have a tie vote on Plan B, so we need your vote. Can you come over here? It's critical, because I'm going to be away for the next 2 meetings.
Ask if she wants to be picked up.
Yeah, we can pick her up.
Somebody will come get you. You don't have to put your clothes on.
7:30, Monday the 17th. If you're late, we'll be gone, because this is like 2 minutes, I hope.
Well, I first became aware that there was a possibility of asbestos when I spoke with Jeremy last year, and he had said that building was laden with asbestos. So I questioned it at the town board meeting. I didn't get any results, but then Richard Freed stopped me, and he said he was very acquainted with asbestos abatement, having been an asbestos inspector for 25 years.
I was at a town meeting and Toby asked a question about asbestos and got, I believe, from the board an equivocal answer, or was passed off. And after the meeting broke, she walked past me and I said, "What's going on with the asbestos?" Which she told me, and we talked for a while, and I said, well, if I can help, I would help. I learned that from my days of picking up dog shit. I came here because I wanted to rediscover myself as an artist, which was my original training before, and my desire before I became an architect. And because Woodstock had the School of Art here and a community of practicing artists, and I bought this house. I bought my house because it was adjacent to the Woodstock School of Art in an effort to find my own voice as a painter. Suddenly, CVS moves in, and we have a wonderful municipal experience of working with local government. And it's been just a song and a dance ever since then.
When you feel like you do unto others, but they don't seem to do unto you, stop, take a chair, ask yourself, is this fair? And consider this fresh point of view.
It's all in the paperwork. You don't need any other record than that.
All the guys have Rich called the Department of Labor. He said more talks with them than I have.
Okay.
We're not as specialist engineers.
All right. I can absolutely tell you that there probably hasn't been another job in the state of New York that got that kind of attention. And it would not have gotten that kind of attention if we as a group had not asked for, through the Freedom of Information Act, for their files, had not asked the building department for their files, had not been in constant contact with the state. At one point, then, local government began to take on the responsibility, or it devolved on them.
And then we went to Jeremy, and he called in Paul Schultes, and we got a stop work order, and Richard is now basically overseeing what's going on.
I've always liked this town. It has many of the characteristics of the small town in Pennsylvania, was born and raised in, and my family is from, that had before it was absorbed by Philadelphia expansion.
I live right across the street, and I'm satisfied with the abatement program and with Paul Schultes to keep an eye on things.
So I wrote to Brian Shapiro, and he said he would look into it. Hi, Toby. I spoke with Paul Schultes this afternoon. The original concern was that there was asbestos tiling on the floor, which isn't that bad unless you're the sucker removing it. Thanks, Toby. Richard is supposed to be in touch with the Department of Labor, and he's requesting, and Paul Schultes is in agreement, that they do some sort of air study to test for asbestos fibers.
How do you get that on the other side?
But the latest I heard was that CVS doesn't care to pay for it. I think somebody has to speak with Jeremy and tell him.
No, but before we even do that, if we speak to Wapner or to an attorney who says yes, if this is what happens Monday morning, I will ask for an injunction. Then we can say to Jeremy, this is what's going down. You either enforce the law or we will, or however you want to say it, but make it absolutely clear that there's going to be press coverage, there's going to be a Supreme Court judge involved, there's going to be an injunction.
Okay, you know what else I think we ought to do?
Stop playing
we ought to get in
softball with
touch
these
with the
people.
Woodstock Times right about now. Do you want to talk to him and see if it's what's with the letter? You have a good relationship with him.
Since you've called already, I don't want to call
Why not? You still want to know where the letter is? Because they told us 2 days ago that there was going to be a letter written that day and we were going to get copies of it.
Angela's checking on where the letter is.
Where do you want this file?
Oh, what is this?
And, for me to now call after Richard just
Why don't you
called.
just call Angela again? Angela, did you find the letter?
But she said she would call when she found it.
Well, again, how long ago was that? I'm not trying to,
No, I understand, but,
I mean, it is a...
she may have gotten another phone call.
No,
in
I understand,
between.
but it's Friday, and the
So
thing's
let
happening.
me call Arthur again. They're going to start Monday morning. CVS. What they should be starting with is to get the site prepared to do this job.
And it looks like our town, a building department, and some of the board, and CVS are kind of talking together and trying to find ways around the procedures. Okay, well, the question I have for you is, could you get us an injunction to stop them if they're doing anything that is not prescribed by these statutes?
How many people could you get out on this thing? If we...
We could probably get at least 100 out there.
Could you?
Right.
You think?
On such short notice on a Monday morning.
They started 8, yeah.
Is there no way Thank you. Yes, thank you. Right.
Nowhere.
$5,000 to $10,000.
Yeah.
For an injunction?
Yep. First, you got to get a temporary
I'll call the
restraining order.
library and get Mark.
The amount of work that's involved in getting in doing all
Mark said
the
he could do
paperwork.
it for $250. Just the fees.
I have the code. I'm looking at it. Hello?
No, it's not Wall Street.
He cut me off, and they're really fucking off on this. They're using a section called, instead of this, they're bypassing it by using a section called in-plant and emergency operation. Okay.
I'll be reachable in my office.
Is Jeremy in this morning? Yeah. To do it and to do it correctly for CVS is gonna cost them actually a lot of money. We'll get to the Attorney General.
I would like to be in touch with you over the weekend because I'm getting a lot of pressure here, and the group will probably be demonstrating if it isn't carried out properly.
The guys who authorized this from the state should be fucking fired or sent to jail. Hello? He won't answer his fucking phone. Who is the head? Who is the secretary of the Department of Labor? Yeah, who is the big cheese in the Department of Labor? Who is as high as you can get in the Department of Labor? The commissioner. Yeah, do you have his phone number? Where can I reach him? Listen, Toby, I think we've got to be out there Monday morning. I think the whole goddamn town has to be out there Monday morning.
What?
I think the whole damn town has to be out there Monday morning.
Monday morning?
Yeah, I think we'll talk over the weekend, but
Okay.
this is crazy. This is real nonsense. You know what? We're going to have more people at this job site on Monday morning than you have ever seen at any job site. And I mean, we will. We have to, because we're concerned about. There are people who live next to this who have respiratory problems. I'm reading the requirements. And I think we're just going to have to fight this out in another way, that's all. But we will fight it out, believe me. Okay. Well, you know that it's or, but it doesn't say that in the law. It doesn't say that in the text. I can't believe the duplicity. I can't believe the bullshit. I can't believe what is happening in this. Shit.
So what's happening with SOS?
I had a call from Toby that I missed this morning, talking about writing something for the newspaper. But until I get back and talk to her and talk to Richard Freed, I don't know how much of a basis we have for anything in particular.
So what is the plan of action?
There is none at this moment that I'm aware of.
So do you feel your hands tied?
Well, of course. Of course. I think this is an end run around the law, and the town is complicitous in this end run. The State Department of Labor obviously is orchestrating it, probably under political pressure from Albany. We would have to sue the state. The town, the building department here had the power to pull the permit, to stop this, and they didn't.
So don't you think the best thing would be to start demonstrating, or?
Oh, demonstrating definitely. Whether a legal proceeding, Article 78 against the town is in order, Richard has to tell us what ground we're on in terms of the article that controls asbestos removal. But Richard's not. The last day, he hasn't been clear. We had an attorney who was ready to begin an action, and Toby didn't want to proceed that way. So
off the sidewalk. Understand immediately, okay? I'm telling you right now, immediately. I'm not going to put up with a bunch of nonsense down here from anybody. If you want to film stuff from on the sidewalk, go right ahead. Okay. Have a great time. If you're in here and I have to deal with it, I'm not worried about what he's saying. I'm telling you directly. If you're in here and I have to deal with it, I'm going to arrest you for trespass. Okay? Understood. Pure and simple. I'm not going to play the game down here with everybody, okay? No, I'm not. Because I'm not going to deal with this every day, and I know what's going to happen. Okay? Well, it is a game, okay? As far as I'm concerned, okay? I don't really care if you think it's not or not. I'm telling you. You come down here again, and you get in here, and you're off this sidewalk, you're going to get charged with trespass. Pure and simple.
Ryan.
I got a girlfriend over here. She's right there.
Oh, well, good for you. So what's happening with it? Did you get my call?
Most of the asbestos protocols in the law are really concerned with worker safety.
Hence, the man was fully geared while he was hacking away.
Yes, and they didn't care about you and your camera standing across the street. As a matter of fact, they would have thrown a couple of fibers your way if they could do it.
Do you, in a sense, personally feel responsible that you were not able to stop that?
Fibers are released every time a car puts on its brakes. Brake linings are asbestos. That's the one product I think still manufactured in the United States that they allow asbestos content in.
Why do you shop at Sam's Club?
Because the prices are good and they have items that you can't get elsewhere. I don't see a store here that has exactly what I want.
So you don't see the correlation?
I do see the correlation. It's happening all over the country. It's been happening since way back in the 60s. It started slowly and it's creeping around. I drove across Florida one year and there were many, many ghost towns that they must have been thriving little communities, and Walmarts went in there. And when they didn't get the type of business they wanted, they left, and they left a ghost town.
I like canvas and rabbit skin glue and white lead priming and all of those wonderful, toxic, old-fashioned materials.
Wouldn't it be much easier for us if, now that we know what the problem is, just to deal with the problem and get rid of the problem?
No, because I think that in doing that, you create more problems. You know, Home Depot I love Home Depot. I like to go there. It's a terrific place. I also like our local hardware store. Each one fills a separate function.
When my father was a toy distributor, he was driven out of business by larger corporations. They were able to buy direct at a much cheaper price.
So wouldn't it be best to say, we know what the problem is. The dragon is the problem. Let's get rid of the problem. And then after that, we won't have that problem.
The problem is ourselves. I mean, we're the problem. And we can't hardly get rid of ourselves at one point.
It would be like saying we are the dragon.
Yeah, we are the dragon. We are the dragon. You know, when we come into somebody or something that we really dislike, or that we really have a strong reaction to it, it is probably because we are seeing a reflection of ourselves in them. In them. I've been in my life. Oh, are you dragonized? Are you kidding? Sure, absolutely, absolutely. I played for so many years of the corporate killer game. I mean, and really, you know, big time. Because that's what I thought I should do. That's what I thought I should do.
money, acceptance, love, acceptance, money, love, because that's what we're taught to do, to be successful, to be, I thought that was to sit on top of the pinnacle, and the pinnacle composed of other people, to be in control of other people.
That is me at the age of 8. It was painted in 1943 here in Woodstock by my dad. When I was a kid here, I remember how Woodstock was in 1940. It was a very simple, sleepy country town. The only time you'd see more than 10 people on the street at once is at 4 o'clock in the afternoon when people come in for the mail, go to the post office. Now there are more people at midnight than there were in the middle of the day in those days. It was a bucolic setting. This is an orderly demonstration, and that's to its credit. There's no reason why it shouldn't be.
It's orderly because the police are here?
No, I think it would be orderly without the police.
That's why I was saying I don't think that kind of presence is necessary.
I have no idea.
It's kind of ugly.
Well, I have no idea whose idea it was or by what route the...
It's sort of like they really show a fort.
No, what I'm saying is we're the citizens paying your salaries, and it seems like you're protecting CVS from us.
But then why is the town board allowing the police to make such a huge presence here that's completely inappropriate to peaceful demonstration? It's not like somebody's going to attack CVS. There's a majority of people on the town board, if they would speak out and take a stand against this sort of fascist tactics. Well, it's a problem. I don't see people taking a stand in this town. And I think there is a majority on the board. People got elected because they were progressive, they were willing, and then when they get on the town board, there's only one voice that consistently speaks out.
I will find out by what route this decision passed, and there will be something that we said about that. I'm also a lifelong person of a certain serenity. I have some experience of a Buddhist nature, and I'm not very excitable. Well, I think that I have the right to feel that my presence here is a gesture of solidarity.
Absolutely, but where we need your solidarity, Steve, is where we elected you to, which is the town board.
Well, they not only take over the commerce, they surround us with identical details. Suddenly, this could be anywhere. But this is not anywhere. This is Woodstock, New York, which is very much somewhere. It's a very special place. We can't let that happen. We are citizens, not consumers. Hallelujah. Amen. Praise be. Welcome to the Church of Stop Shopping.
Really?
Hallelujah.
The police like you here.
Praise be. Please, I would be honored if you would classify the Church of Stop Shopping as a terrorist organization. Praise be. Hallelujah. I want to be on your file. Put me in your jail. Hallelujah. Lock me up. Amen. I'm fetishizing your jail. Hallelujah. Put me away. Amen. Praise the What an unbelievable mistake you're making, son.
Did the downtown board approve this?
I know nothing about it. Nobody consulted me.
And where does that tape go? And why?
I'll find out.
I did not give you permission to photograph me.
Why was our picture taken?
So we know who is here and who is not here.
And what did you make you think that it was necessary?
Ma'am, I don't have to explain all my actions to you.
Yeah, you do, sir. You are a public employee. We are the people who pay your salary. You do have to explain.
Why are you taking pictures of this again?
Ma'am,
I'm upset. And a lot of people here are upset that you had the nerve to come here and take our pictures for demonstrating.
This is
That's
still
correct.
the United States, isn't it?
And you are
Maybe
obstructing a public sidewalk right out there. You see that?
Yeah,
correct?
but you know there are a lot of people on public sidewalks. There are all the people who are driving by are on public streets. Do you take their pictures too?
Did they phone the police department? Did they phone you all about this?
They spoke to the head of our department.
When was that?
To be honest with you, I don't know the exact date or time.
So should I check with Chief Baldwin in terms of when they called? Or?
Sure, absolutely.
Today, I would like to ask the blessing of today's goddess, God, multi-gender, not a product, not organized religion, but something more powerful than that. I'd like to ask for the blessing on this gathering here. The God that is the absence of CVS, bless us now. Give us the courage. Give us the boycott of these evil products. These sweatshop products. Teach them, Reverend. These HMO abusively priced products. These products that seek to replace our relationships.
It wasn't CVS that chased Grand Union. That was the town of Woodstock.
So how would you tackle the problem of not having a supermarket here in Woodstock?
The truth?
Yeah.
Get rid of all the politicians, the planning board, and the zoning board, and stuff. 4 or 5 rednecks fix it. We build a nice supermarket back there, and then you can hire the idiots back again.
CVS, boycott, CVS, boycott, CVS, boycott, CVS, boycott, CVS, boycott, CVS, boycott, CVS.
Why, it's Jeremy Wilbur. Hello.
Hey, Gordon, you
I'm
see us,
pissed
Steve,
with
here?
our police department. I've never been treated like that before in my life.
No, it looks like a very peaceful demonstration, and I congratulate you all for that. Can I have a few words with the supervisor?
Look at him go.
It's good
He used
to
to
know
run
how
track.
to say no. It's good to know how to say no. Sometimes you say yes and end up in a mess when no would have been apropos. You should have learned long, long ago. It's good to know how to say no.
There were several members of the group that were potential problems. I've spoken with members of the group. They themselves have acknowledged that there was potential trouble there. So with that, I think it's certainly appropriate that we provided the protection that we did for the entire town.
The only person that mentioned civil disobedience ever was Jeremy, and he wasn't there. So that's the second time you bring out the civil disobedience, those 2 words. And which was totally ridiculous because it didn't come from any of us.
It was a letter that Jeremy had written directly to CVS warning CVS not to open here because we really need a full-service market. And he also said that if CVS does open its door, and I'm quoting now, its store in the former Grand Union building here in Woodstock, there will be acts of civil disobedience. I intend to participate. It's very possible that my next interview with the New York Times reporter on this subject will be conducted in the Ulster County Jail. Now, Jeremy has not participated once after he made this statement in his letter. The biggest act of protest he's told me about is that he walks directly around the property and he won't even set foot on the grass, and that's as far as his involvement is with this particular situation. I'm not against corporations. I think corporations can be a positive thing, they can be a negative thing. I would love to have a corporation like A&P come in here, or Trader Joe's, or one of the larger food chains come in here and make a go of it. So it's not anti-big business, because those particular companies are big business. Hannaford is another one. They're wonderful food stores. I had written to Trader Joe's, which is a company that I personally like a lot. I wrote to the president of the company because I really liked the way that he had the structure of his organization. And I got a letter back from the real estate acquisition department saying that the demographics were correct, except we don't have 100,000 people within 10 square miles, so they're not interested in coming here. So when you're dealing with larger businesses, they're dealing with, the bottom line is the buck. We need a company that's going to believe in whatever Woodstock is or whatever this particular plight is and come in here. I don't know, it's just very frustrating. It's like whenever we demonstrate and we hold our signs, everybody's honking their horns and saying, yeah, we're with you, and it's like, I look at the parking lot, and there are sometimes 5 cars, and there are sometimes 15 cars. And I think it's more important for people to save $1.29 to go in here instead of, standing up for themselves. There aren't a lot of people that go here, because I know there are a lot of people that boycott, and they really believe in what's going on. And I'm certainly not an activist, but I'm a great believer, and I think every town should have a food source, a real food source.
I'm under the impression that we live in a democracy, not a police state, and that it is actually the town board that hires and decides what the limits of the law are.
Now, yes, we are a police commission. We're a police commission by default. The state of New York makes town boards the commission of the police unless they go and appoint somebody else. But I am not going to go snooping over his shoulders any more than I'm going to go snoop over the building inspector's or the assessor's office or the town clerk's office or the planning board's office or any other. These people are appointed to administer these departments.
All of these people that you mentioned are appointed people. The only recourse they have are to come to the elected people here and lodge their complaint. That's the only way they can exert any pressure on anything that goes wrong. So you have to take it. You have to oversee all of their conduct. That is your job.
And I do. And you know what, Elizabeth? As long as you bring it up, it's so interesting to me about all this, and this whole issue first bubbled up. I know Gordon went down to the police department, he talked to them about it. I know Brian went down there, he talked to them about it. I know Steve went down there and he talked to them about it. Did you go down there and talk to them about it? No. Did you?
I didn't, and I'll explain something. We got into a discussion about this because he disagreed that he had no responsibility with any of the actions that the police had taken. And I said, yes, you do. And he says, what do you want me to do? And I said, I believe that you should get Harry Baldwin to come and talk to this board, either in executive session or publicly, but you have a responsibility to do that. I never got from him that he was going to do that.
It's not his job to stand on top of my back every day and look at what I'm doing, and nor is it the town board's job. If there's an issue with what I'm doing, then it certainly becomes his job as well as the board's job to question me, and obviously that's why I'm here tonight, because they requested me to come down so we could address this issue.
I put in a lot of energy into this campaign. Bringing up the thing about a hotel, the thing about the sign thing, I was there about that one too. But, if the people don't buy your message, then, forget it.
But how are they going to buy it if you're not going to be there to sell it?
I was there to sell it. I did whatever I felt I needed to do.
And you don't think going now the last 2 days is going to make any difference?
No, it doesn't. I don't know where are you getting the quantitative evidence that it makes any difference?
Well, let me tell you this. What if you lose by 20 votes?
I'm going to lose by a lot of votes. I don't want to be harassed about this anymore. It's you're coming from an unknowledgeable position about it. I have much more knowledge about it than you do.
We've got the final results for town board for the 2 town council person positions. It was extremely, extremely close. So it's Liz and Mike Stock. That's great.
So I'm very happy. I can't believe that it happened. I know you kept saying to me it would happen, but you like it when I win, though, don't you?
Well, no, that's not the point. The point was that you were wrong and I was right.
You're so funny. Well, I know you like to be right, so I'll acquiesce in this case.
Were you going to go shop at the CVS?
Yes, I was going to. I was all excited about going to the CVS.
And why is that?
Because it's just opening and it's got so many things in it that I've been waiting for a store that could carry more than, the things that are around here. Well, basically, a store that couldn't make it went out, and a store that
is going to try to make is coming in, and I think it helps the tax basis in Woodstock to have a reliable store here, a store that's working instead of nothing.
First of all, it's not true that the store that was here couldn't make it. This was one of the 2 profitable sites in the Grand Union chain. It was a profitable grocery store. The reason is people here need to eat food.
This is going to cause efforts to go out, and so you'll have another empty store.
Hey, that's another large corporate store.
But they were here, and we had a drugstore. We need a food store.
I think people just don't like to see any change. They're not willing to give it a chance. And I don't think there's any point in boycotting it because in the long run, they're going to stay.
A pleasure it is to be here, although I'd rather be doing something else.
How could you shop in there?
Why not?
I remember when Grand Union was viable and profitable, and they said that this building was too small for a supermarket. They wanted to build behind Bradley Meadow. And everyone, I think including you, were very much opposed to it because there were 4 frogs and 3 birds back there in a small wetland area, and everybody said they wouldn't allow them to build there. And this is what the result is. So we really have only ourselves to blame. This building now looks far better than Grand Union ever did here.
But we don't have a supermarket.
That's not their fault. That's
That's
our
you
fault.
don't help us to get a
But
supermarket.
it's not their fault. This is too small.
But you're not helping us.
But Toby, this is too small
It
for a
isn't too
supermarket.
small for a small supermarket.
Every supermarket chain has said, this is much too small.
We don't need
Go
a large
inside and look
chain.
at it. It's too small.
We don't need a large
It's not a
chain.
question of a large chain. You can't get a supermarket.
Well, I
It's
must
not
say, I'm
large
glad
enough.
you're no longer associated with the Woodstock Democrats.
I can tell you the discussion at the Woodstock Democratic Committee was that each individual will take it, will follow his or her own conscience because there was absolutely no consensus. But it's
Surprised
not
that you would
political.
shop
This
it.
is not a
So why don't you
political.
go shopping at Sorghum's?
What's the difference?
His view was that it's up to each individual, and that was the Democratic line, on how to deal with this issue. What's your feeling about this?
Okay.
As a Democrat.
Actually, I have to side with Harvey on that one. I do think it's up to each individual if the committee couldn't come to a consensus. If there was a majority, if a majority agreed with a certain point of view, you'd have to go with the majority.
Have you discussed this specific problem with the supervisor or any of the town board members?
No, I have not.
Have they ever approached you on this matter?
No.
Could the legislator have done anything to help Woodstock?
No.
If you had been the supervisor of Woodstock, what would you have done?
That's a tough question.
Originally, when Grand Union went out, the whole town was together. It wasn't a political issue, but for some reason, it's become political.
Why do you think that people who shop at CVS wouldn't be against the war?
You know, to see the sort of profit motive as a kind of something that can't be questioned or violated, and I think that's the same for the war. They're noticing that it's like because we need oil, we need, you know, we can go bomb whoever we want, whatever we want, and that it's a very similar attitude to some of these people who really want to have development at any cost in Woodstock. They want big stores here. They don't care whether they're owned by local people or not. They just want stores, and they think that that's going to bring them jobs. It turns out that this store they hired contractors from, you know, New Jersey. They didn't hire any local workers here.
Non-union
and they're
contractors.
non-union. They're like, and I'm sure the people who work there, they're only going to pay them total minimum wage. They keep them enough hours that they don't have to pay benefits. And we have to really stand up and take a stand about what kind of world we want,
Right.
Every week I took home probably, it was like 120 some. I helped them open the store, set the store up, and I worked for them a couple months after that until October.
And why aren't you working now?
I found another job that paid me more. 6 hours a day. It started off and then it dropped down to like sometimes 4 hours a day.
Now, did that include health insurance?
Not until you were there. I think it was 6 months. I missed the Grand Union. I would love to have a supermarket in Woodstock, but CVS is a very nice building, and they did what they could with the building, and they fixed it up, and it looks nice.
That's one of the ambiguities about this. They have toned up this building a lot. When Grand Union ran this place, if you were in there on a day like this, the roof would be leaking. Water on the floor. It was dreadful.
I proposed to them what I thought, to the real estate agent who was handling the property of CVS. I think a co-op is the way to do it. When I was talking with him, he said, well, our cost is $8 a square foot. And I think that I can have CVS give you the space for $8 a square foot. And I said, well, that's great, but that's average rent. That isn't going to help this process move forward. We have to make it go forward, we have to make it look good. We have to make the numbers look good. So he came back with a $5 a square foot offer. And I said, well, that's pretty good. But I don't think we can pay $5 a square foot right away. I think we're going to need time. Maybe 6 months, maybe longer. At some point, Todd Andrews, their public relations guy, he was very interested in my proposal. He told me that he would do everything that he could to get this thing done, and he would support any requests that I would have to get this thing done. So what it came down to at the end of the day is CVS will give us at least 6 months free rent, probably a year, once we can show them we get started. I said, well, since this is going to be a co-op and since it's a community project, I think that if we went to the local tradespeople and say, listen, if you donate your time, CVS is going to donate the materials, let's do the work. And Todd Andrews said, let CVS pay for it. Fine. But the point is that CVS is probably most likely, and I feel confident in going along with the assumption that they're going to do the improvements, which means that when we go for a loan, we don't have to ask for $200,000 or $250,000 for improvements as part of that loan, which makes it more difficult to get what we're going to be eventually finally looking for, which is a loan guarantee from the U.S. Department of Agriculture. And the better we look, the easier it is for them to say, this looks good. The steps are incorporating and the usual steps that you do to start a business, and then getting the members and having them pay a fee to show their interest.
Love a co-op. It sounds wonderful. But there's no way that I want a co-op in that building. And I feel that the only reason they've been so great to you, Al, is that it would really help them if we had a co-op there. And I feel like it would soften the boycott. And it makes me really angry that Todd Andrews was so happy to talk with you when he ignored our letters for months.
On the whole, I think that went very well.
You did? Yeah. I made a fool of myself once or twice. I mean, I really rushed, right?
Yeah.
It was ugly.
You should never
yell at somebody.
Never.
That they're trying to give you a reasonable rent. I don't think that that's probably a good place.
Well, I'm going to take them at their word, and that's where I'm going to start, because I don't think there's any other place to start. Show me.
There is no others. I mean, they can say you gotta look. There's no others. If we have a perfectly good space with concessions up the kazoo that you're not going to get anywhere, why you want to look at another place?
Well, if half the people who might shop there say I'm not going to shop there because that's where it is, that's why you might want to look at another place.
But there is no other place, so then, the hell with the other half of the people.
So then
like you said, if you don't, like it's been said,
right.
If you don't want to shop, don't shop. But if we have enough people signing up and it impresses you enough to think that it'll impress the USDA,
it doesn't have to
we've got
impress.
a ball game.
That's right. That's right. But the issue of the site is something that will not go away. And that doesn't mean that that's not the right site. And it doesn't mean that site won't
I see
work.
what you're saying. We have to resolve it.
Yeah.
We have to bring closure. We have to bring closure. I get it.
By simply saying to people, look.
No, this is it. This is the only spot.
Yeah.
It doesn't bring closure.
You don't make any friends that way.
Yeah. I get it. You're right.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So, are you guys ready?
Yes.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, always remember and never forget that theater is life, film is art, and television is furniture.
Right.
Goodbye, everybody. Just a minute. Why don't you go get yourself a real job? I've been the Ivy Vine Players for 21 years. I've been eluding fame successfully for 21 years. This is my real job. That's not a real job. Why not? Because you like it. Thank you.